Your top stories this evening, sponsored by Courts, bringing value home. VP JAGDEO'S escalated attack on the press. Guyana Press Association concerned about threats against journalists. All systems go for disciplined services voting. GECOM says over 10,000 to vote on Friday. Free prosthetic limbs for amputees under INDIA-CAROM initiative. And APNU sees eradicating corruption as a major step in putting the people first. HGP Nightly News begins now. Good evening to our viewers here in Guyana and online. I'm Travis Chase with the Monday, August 18 edition of the HGP Nightly News. We have what you need to know this evening. The General Secretary of the People's Progressive Party Civic, JAGDEO, has upped the ante on his vile verbal attacks against journalists who he claims are anti-PPPC. The Guyana Press Association said it would not sit idly by and allow journalists in search of the truth to be threatened and intimidated. Here's more. General Secretary of the People's Progressive Party Civic and Vice President JAGDEO has over time escalated his war on the free press, verbally attacking operatives because of stories he does not find favorable to the People's Progressive Party Civic. In light of the alarming regularity of Mr. JAGDEO'S anti-media diatribes, the Guyana Press Association says it is deeply concerned about the recent attempts to censor and intimidate local journalists by government officials, opposition candidates, and the party supporters. At his last press conference, JAGDEO took yet another swipe at journalists because of an online story which he did not find favorable to his party.
President Trump has spoken about fake news. So not because you claim you're media, that means you're media. So who, Travis Chase, is a gun for hire?
Most recently, the United States 2024 Country Report on Human Rights Practices highlighted that several members of the media in Guyana reported that they faced discrimination and hostile personal verbal attacks. This damning report did not stop the attacks on the media by the PPPC's frontman.
The subservient media in Guyana has not pressed them hard enough about the trip to Barbados.
Mr. JAGDEO'S anti-media proclivities are now well known, but the sheer regularity and intensity of these attacks, especially on the privately owned Kaitra News and Stabroek News, happens every Thursday at his press conference.
The Stabroek News, with all of its pretense at journalism and high-standard journalism, don't ask any tough questions.
The Guyana Press Association says it takes note of these concerns and are putting politicians on notice that the work of journalists must be respected during this election season. Quote, "We are fully aware of the repercussions recent allegations and acts of intimidation can have on our members professionally and personally." The GPA is also concerned about threats to journalists pursuing certain stories, among those linked to corruption.
A lot of these so-called journalists are anti-PPP.
The Guyana Press Association reminds that journalists should be allowed to work without being intimidated or forced to self-censor, and have called on all involved to desist from intimidatory practices. The GPA has also encouraged its members to uphold the principles of the profession, to be objective, transparent, and balanced. Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News. The discipline services will head to the polls this Friday, and the Guyana Elections Commission says it is prepared to conduct voting on that day. Here is more. The discipline services of Guyana will head to the polls on Friday, the 22nd of August, and according to Deputy Chief Election Officer Anil Giddings, all systems go for the conduct of the discipline services balloting.
We are well poised for the conduct of these elections on Friday. All of the logistical arrangements have been made. At this point in time, there is nothing aside from maybe force majeure that can prevent such conduct.
10,481 members of the discipline services are eligible to vote. The Deputy Chief Election Officer showed a news conference Monday that already 92 persons working at 20 diplomatic missions are listed to vote, and that returns from 2 diplomatic missions were received already.
We have actually received today returns from 2 diplomatic missions, which are in the custody of the Chief Election Officer as required by law. He has reminded me to say secure custody. They're actually in sealed ballot boxes, in a sealed ballot box. And the sealing of that ballot box was witnessed by contesting agents from the contesting political party.
As it relates to polling stations across Guyana's interior locations, Mr. Giddings explained how the balloting will be conducted.
There are cases where there are boxes that will hopscotch around various locations, usually via air, to allow voting at locations before moving to others. So 1 box will suffice for that. So 83 locations translates to 67 boxes.
Members of the discipline services usually vote ahead of the nationally scheduled date for polling because they will be required to maintain law and order on that day. Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News. President Irfan Ali on Sunday outlined broad plans, particularly to strengthen the social assistance program should the People's Progressive Party Civic be re-elected to office. Jada June reports.
Along with the proposed establishment of a sizable transportation grant for children and pensioners, President Irfan Ali has promised to significantly enhance cash grants, pensions, and public aid. He revealed that under his government's plan, every Guyanese schoolchild will benefit from at least $200,000 annually. This includes an increase in the Because We Care cash grant from $50,000 to $100,000 and a $100,000 towards a transportation grant.
What does this mean? This means that we will be placing in children's pockets of this country $40 billion every single year. That is $30 billion more. Let me say that $100,000 will be that transportation grant that we have been talking about.
Meanwhile, the APNU presidential candidate Aubrey Norton highlighted that the proposal by the PPPC was already countered.
If you look at our flags, you will see on it that we will increase old age pension to $100,000. So Ali coming to say he's going to give $60,000 wouldn't cut it at all.
Furthermore, the president also detailed additional measures to strengthen welfare support. Public assistance will receive a major boost with an annual allocation of $19 billion to ensure a minimum of $40,000 per beneficiary. Pensioners are also set to benefit with no less than $65 billion, committed to increasing old age pensions to $60,000. To further support senior citizens, a $50,000 transportation grant is to be introduced at an additional cost of $4 billion. However, Aubrey Norton reminded the People's Progressive Party Civic PPPC that the focus should have always been on the people, giving them a quality life they deserve.
So Irfan Ali has been following virtually everything we would have said. But by the very nature of their approach, they cannot give $100,000. They need to keep money for corrupt activities.
Meanwhile, according to the president, these commitments reflect his government's ongoing efforts to increase the cost of living and improve the livelihood of Guyanese across the country. Jada June reporting for HGP Nightly News.
There is silence from the Guyana Police Force on the involvement of police ranks in a brazen multi-million-dollar robbery. You'll have more details in this report. The communications unit of the Guyana Police Force appears to be very selective in releasing crime reports to members of the media. Nightly News is aware, though, of several serious crimes happening that have not been reported to the press. A clear case of attempting to make the crime stats of the Guyana Police Force look good. For instance, a recently promoted inspector and 4 subordinate ranks are expected to be charged soon with robbery under arms. A Chinese national reported that he went from winning big at a Church Street casino to being the victim of a robbery in a matter of seconds at the hands of the police ranks. As usual, the police have opted to remain silent on the robbery. Nightly News understands that the victim last Tuesday was leaving a city casino when he was stopped by the anti-terrorism patrol. The inspector demanded that he search the bag of the victim. Upon noticing the cash, the officers took away more than $5 million and drove off. The victim claimed that he even offered the officers $1.5 million to leave him alone, but they refused. The victim then made a police report. The officers were then placed under close arrest at the Tactical Services Unit. Reportedly, officers from the Police Office of Professional Responsibility have been called in to investigate the crime and have obtained a confession statement after reviewing CCTVs. Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News. You're watching the HGP Nightly News. Stay with us. There is more news ahead.
Welcome to SNL Electrical Inc., where lighting and electrical needs are met with expertise and style. From the latest in electrical lamps to durable cables, circuit breakers, panels, we have it all. Illuminate your space with our elegant chandeliers, stunning crystal lights, and versatile pole lights. Looking to upgrade your comfort? Explore top-of-the-line AC units and our diverse selections of stylish styles. Visit us at 170-180 Thomas Street, Kitty, Georgetown. Discover a solution that not only lights up your world but transforms it. Call us on telephone number 226-3018 or 223-1634. SNL Electrical Inc., powering your life with elegance, quality.
Monday, September 1, 2025 is Election Day. At the general election, electors will vote to elect the President and 65 members of the National Assembly. And at the regional election, electors will vote to elect members of the 10 regional democratic councils. Check the official list of electors that is being displayed at 2 prominent places in your area to ensure that you are correctly listed. It is your constitutional right and your civic duty to vote at the upcoming general and regional elections, providing you are listed in the official list of electors. Vote early on Election Day. For more information, contact the GECOM on 2250-27729 or visit www.gecom.org.gy.
Rolf Establishment. No job is too small or too large. We specialize in all types of fabricating machinery, excavator repairs, rice field pumps, and hydraulic hoses. Visit us at Lot 113, Block CC, Manripo, East Coast, Demerara, or call 220-9624-629-4021 or 619-7880. At Krishna Rolf Establishment, no job is too small or too large.
HGP Nightly News, thanks for staying tuned. Aubrey Norton, the presidential candidate for the Partnership for National Unity, is determined to end bureaucracy and dictatorship which he alleged is occurring under local municipalities. The party says this will allow these bodies to act independently. Antonio Day will tell us more.
Aubrey Norton, the presidential candidate for the Partnership for National Unity, in his analysis of the current bureaucracy under local municipalities, said that more devolutionary approach is needed.
And the local government system is intended to put power in the hands of the communities. We will therefore change the present PPP approach, in which they have to control and dominate local government.
The APNU's presidential candidate, speaking on the radio program Politics, Elections and You, hosted by Bobby Vera, said that the government's current dictatorial approach towards the management of regional and neighborhood democratic councils has resulted in the underdevelopment of many communities.
When you do that, you deprive them of the ability to take initiatives. We intend to have local government that is active and dynamic.
The seasoned politician stressed that the local government authorities by law should be allowed to make decisions free from political interference.
These institutions are empowered to make decisions for the area they govern. We want to implement that fully.
The citizens must be fully involved in the development of their respective communities, Mr. Norton reasoned. Nightly News on numerous occasions has covered stories where the central government has attempted to exclude the mayor and city council from matters regarding project development in communities. Furthermore, Walston Martins, chairman of the Buxton Falls NDC on the east coast of Demerara, recently expressed disgust with the manner in which central government has attempted to shut him out on matters pertaining to development in communities such as Bachelor's Adventure. He noted that the constant dictatorial approach by central government has led to substandard works in certain sections of communities, particularly in North Melanie and Bachelor's Adventure. Martin said this is a clear indication that the central government does not care about the development of Afro-dominated communities. Antonio Day reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
The Alliance for Change has rolled out a major agriculture and food security policy which speaks to people, land and legacy as its focus. Marvin Cato will tell you more.
The Alliance for Change, AFC, rolled out its agricultural policy, which placed special focus on building an equitable, resilient, inclusive, sustainable, and profitable agricultural economy. One that restores dignity to the people who till the land, reshapes food production, and positions Guyana as the principal exporter of food to the Caribbean. Modernization must be guided by the principle of ensuring food access for all citizens, the party emphasized. Included in the party's manifesto, strategically targeting agriculture, the party posited that it must be able to restore people to the art of agriculture. This speaks to Guyana's agricultural identity, which was forged through the resilience of enslaved and indentured laborers. In honoring their sacrifices, the AFC said it will reposition agriculture not just as economic activity, but as national inheritance. Recognizing the historical baggage of the term agriculture, the AFC proposes the abolition of the Ministry of Agriculture and the establishment of a Ministry of Food Security. This ministry's aim is to restore dignity to agricultural workers, achieve national food accessibility and regional food security, modernize and diversify agricultural production, enhance climate resilience and land stewardship, develop value-added industries and agri-entrepreneurship, reform agricultural governance and land use systems. There will also be dedicated departments of food policy, food justice, food systems, monitoring, evaluation and budgeting, climate and sustainability, industrial agriculture, aquaculture, agriculture, food and nutrition. The party says in its first 24 months in office, it will conduct a national agricultural census, launch the People's Agricultural Transformation Program, provide 20,000 low-interest agri-loans for youth and women, develop 10 climate-resilient model farms, adopt the CARICOM agri-food strategy as a national policy, and rehabilitate 5 key drainage and irrigation schemes. The AFC says the Bread, Honor, and Hope agricultural policy is a call to action to restore bread, honor, and hope to every Guyanese man, woman, and child who labors in our fields, gardens, and factories. The party says, as they modernize, the people must remain at the center, not machinery, not foreign capital, not forgotten promises. Only then can Guyana truly become the breadbasket of the Caribbean and a global model for people-first food security. This is Marvin Cato reporting for HGP Nightly News.
The Partnership for National Unity aims to lower corporation tax to 20-30% and update regulations for predictable tax benefits so that those in the public and private sector will not be pressured when purchasing items that attract value-added tax. That's according to APNU's presidential candidate, Aubrey Norton. Here's more.
Addressing the common and ongoing challenges in the corporate sector, Aubrey Norton, the presidential candidate for the Partnership for National Unity, pointed out that his party's people-centered development strategies will include tax incentives, which will aim in ensuring the lives of every Guyanese become financially sustainable. At his party's manifesto launch on Friday, the APNU's presidential candidate emphasized the need to create a conducive environment for the business sector to thrive.
We will progressively reduce the corporation taxes to global standards of 20 to 30% and modify regulations to give predictability to tax benefits.
Ms. Norton said his government intends to create special economic or opportunity zones for both domestic and foreign investors to pursue the production of various items. In recognizing the four-door wheel pickup as a notable mode of transport, Norton said taxes for these vehicles will be significantly reduced.
We intend to reduce the tax on those vehicles to 15% on the cost, only to make the vehicle more affordable to people.
On Politics, Elections and You, hosted by Bobby Vera on Monday, the seasoned politician added that the public sector employees must be in a position to purchase vehicles without worrying about high taxes.
When you exclude the average public servant from the duty-free, you are really and truly ensuring that they don't live the life that they should live. So our reforms will include changing the rules to ensure that the average public servant, what is wrong with our office assistant being able to purchase a vehicle?
Moreover, Mr. Norton said he will ensure that small businesses occupy a central place in Guyana's development agenda. He added that these micro-enterprises will be provided with adequate locations and facilities for vending, enjoy subsidized electricity and rent, and be assured to access to adequate amounts of foreign currency. The APNU candidate also pointed out that his party's agricultural agenda includes a focus on crop diversification, a promotion of value-added and agro-processing, a greater use of field technology, and an increase in crop production biodiversity. Antonio Day reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
Meanwhile, the Alliance for Change has outlined a wide-ranging healthcare policy that it says will transform Guyana's healthcare system into one that is universal, equitable, and people-centered. Find out more from Tiana Cole.
Launched under the theme, quote-unquote, care for every life, dignity for every stage, the Alliance for Change says the policy sets out measures to guarantee access to healthcare regardless of geography, income, or social status. A key element of the plan is universal primary care and prevention, with the AFC promising to continue free services at every health post and center. Annual health screenings would be provided for high school students and public servants, while vaccination and immunization programs would be expanded, especially in interland and indigenous communities. The policy places strong emphasis on mental health, identifying it as a national priority. Proposals include the establishment of a National Mental Health Institute, the deployment of a mental health workers corps across hospitals, schools, and communities, and the introduction of a 24-hour crisis hotline. A nationwide education and anti-stigma campaign would also be implemented. To address human resources shortages in the health sector, the AFC is committed to recruiting 1,000 nurses, doctors, and allied professionals within its first year. Incentives would be offered to attract diaspora and Commonwealth specialists, and new nursing and dental schools would be established in underserved regions. The plan also commits to universal treatment and medication access, including free dialysis services, subsidized drug and lab tests, and a strengthened supply chain to prevent shortages. A digital health component would see a nationwide rollout of electronic medical records within 5 years, the expansion of telemedicine, and the use of artificial intelligence to improve diagnostic and resource management. Other proposals include programs to reduce lifestyle-related diseases such as diabetes and hypertension, a maternal and child nutrition voucher initiative, and climate-resilient upgrades to health facilities. The AFC also pledges to integrate palliative care services into hospitals and establish hospice units. Tiana Ko reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
There is more news ahead. Stay with us.
Planning a cleanup? We can help. Sevon's Waste Management skip bins can be provided for home renovation projects, yard cleanup, or construction project. It's simple. Step 1, give us a call. Step 2, we put down the bin. Step 3, load it up with all of your junk. Step 4, we take it away. That's simple. Bins are also available in various sizes, so there is no job that is too big or too small. Call Sevon's Waste Management today at 218-1455.
So much more than just 4 walls, floors, and ceilings. It's a lifetime of great memories and stories. Come talk to us and start your journey home today.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Monday, September 1, 2025 is Election Day. It is your constitutional right to vote at the elections, provided you are listed in the official list of electors. As a voter, you have certain rights. Example, the right to attend political meetings and rallies, know the various political parties and their stance on important national issues. Vote as your conscience tells you. You also have responsibilities which include voting only once for the general election and once for the regional election, respecting the voting rights of other electors, doing nothing to obstruct the election process. Vote early on Election Day for the political party of your choice. For more information, contact the GECOM on 225-027729 or visit www.gecom.org.gy.
HGP Nightly News, welcome back. 35 prosthetic limbs have already been completed and fitted for amputees through the inaugural INDIA-CAROM Prosthetic Limbs Camp, which was officially launched at the Tolma Reed Rehabilitation Center in Georgetown. Tiana Cole is on this story.
Minister of Health Dr. Frank Anthony, in remarks during the launch of the inaugural INDIA-CAROM Prosthetic Limbs Camp, highlighted that 35 prosthetic limbs have already been fitted, with at least 50 more expected to be completed before the camp concludes. The camp involves professionals working directly with recipients to ensure proper fitting, training, and adjustment to the prosthetics.
This is not a one-off arrangement. We want this to be a continuous engagement that we'll have so that more and more people can benefit.
Minister Anthony also noted that prosthetic limbs often cost upward of $400,000, a price many persons cannot afford. Meanwhile, High Commissioner of India to Guyana, Dr. Amit Tilang, in his presentation emphasized that the government of India remains committed to strengthening bilateral relations within the region. He also confirmed that the project will be extended to other CARICOM member states.
We already have requests from other member countries in the region. This is just not initiative as a medical initiative, but also about forging closer partnership between India and this region.
The initiative, which commenced early this year, is in collaboration between the Ministry of Health, High Commission of India, and CARICOM. Tiana Co reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
We tell you that the Partnership for National Unity has flagged corruption as a bugbear in Guyana and is confident it can root it out of society. Marvin Cato will tell you more.
Speaking on the program sources, Vice Presidential Candidate of the Partnership for National Unity, APNU, Ganesh Maipal, indicated that his party is committed to addressing corruption, which has been a bugbear for the ruling party.
I'm passionate, however, for accountability, transparency, and good governance. The first time I made a suggestion to Leader Norton concerning how I intend to address corruption, he bought into it, and it is in our manifesto. I don't believe, Svetlana, that government should single-handedly control the systems and structures. I think we ought to have stronger systems, stronger structures in place.
With concern evident in his voice, Maipal committed that his party would root out corruption at the sight of it.
Government over the last 15 years or thereabout gets 51% of the votes. Opposition gets 49%. You cannot ostracize 49% of the population. There ought to be the involvement of the opposition. So when we talk about the National Procurement and Tender Administration Board, the opposition must have a seat there. When we talk about the Guyana Oil Corporation, Guyoil, the opposition must have a seat on their commission or their board.
When questioned about his role in relation to the Durban Park project, which was executed under the coalition government, Maipal distanced himself from the project, which has been flagged by many as being allegedly riddled with corruption.
In terms of corruption, I was nowhere wrong in Georgetown or at the national level during the 2015 to 2020 period when contracts were being given out for Durban Park and wherever else.
The Partnership for National Unity, APNU, last Friday rolled out its manifesto, and in it, a great deal of effort is placed on addressing corruption, which they say would save taxpayers' dollars, which in turn will go back to the people. This is Marvin Cato reporting for HGP Nightly News.
Stay tuned for your regional news.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the moment you've been waiting for. Step right up because it's time for Digicel's $12 million Punch and Win. Top up with just $1,000 or more for a shot at winning up to $2 million weekly. That's right, up to $2 million weekly. 6 weeks, $2 million per week. Will you be one of our lucky winners? There's only one way to find out. Top up, punch, and win. Only with Digicel. Digicel, better connected.
Hi, Miss Shirley. Miss Shirley, help me out now, please. Why everyone telling me I must exercise my right to vote? Me ain't got time for that. Why must I vote?
Why must you vote? That is your constitutional right and civic duty, my child. Besides, think about this. Government officials make decisions that affect the well-being of you, your family, and community. By voting for a party of your choice, you will be electing the people who will be making these very important decisions. If you don't vote, then you will allow the people who vote to choose government officials without your input. Those others may not share your views about issues that matter to you.
Wait. It's so much voting means to me, and I'm playing the fool. I definitely gonna vote on election day.
For more information, contact the GECOM on 225-02779 or visit www.gecom.org.gy.
You know, I've been thinking, since I moved over to the west side, this is the perfect location for put up a food stand.
Put up food stand here?
Yes, Officer Bling.
No, Granny, you can't put up no food stand here.
Why not?
Because the gas, the energy pipeline.
Gas to energy? Why is that?
It can bring gas from offshore to Region 3. That can turn into electricity and other things.
So what about if Granny put it up over there?
No, Granny, listen. This whole area here, from here to the West Bank, is considered the right of way. So nobody can build, plant, dig, or burn nothing here.
But what if I am?
No buts, Granny. Listen, you could get yourself or others hurt. Watch, you see this number here? You call it if you see anybody doing anything out of the way or doing anything they're supposed to be doing, like building, digging, or burning stuff on the right of way.
All right, grandson, I hear you.
The One Guyana floating production, storage, and offloading vessel has achieved first oil, marking another historic moment for our nation. With the Yellowtail project now in operation, production will eventually increase by 250,000 barrels per day, taking Guyana's national output capacity to over 900,000 barrels daily, the highest per capita in the world. This milestone means much more opportunities for Guyanese, from jobs in transport, engineering, and construction to new contracts for local businesses.
Good evening and welcome to Monday's edition of the Regional News. Senior police officers say the arrest of several Trinidadian men and a Venezuelan national at sea who were allegedly underway to collect a shipment of guns and illegal drugs bound for Trinidad is being viewed as a major breakthrough in the fight against crime. Senior intelligence officials confirmed the authenticity of a video circulating on social media showing the arrest of what appeared to be at least 5 TNT nationals by Venezuelan security forces aboard a vessel intercepted in international waters. The incident, which occurred around August 13 or 14, is now being linked to the broader transnational criminal networks, currently under scrutiny as part of an ongoing state of emergency, SOE. Commissioner of Police Alesta Guevara confirmed the arrest, but did not reveal exactly how many Trinidadian nationals were on the vessel and arrested. Local intelligence officials said a group comprising TNT nationals and a Venezuelan operative was en route to collect a large shipment of narcotics and firearms destined for Trinidad. The arrest is being directly linked to a broader criminal syndicate that remains under active surveillance. Haiti's government has declared a 3-month state of emergency across the West and Central departments as gang violence intensifies, devastating the nation's agricultural heartland. The move follows the appointment of a new interim police chief, Vladimir Parison, tasked with restoring security alongside a UN-backed multinational mission. The measure will cover Haiti's West and Center departments, quote-unquote, to continue the fight against insecurity and respond to the agricultural and food crisis, according to a government statement. The region, known as Haiti's rice basket, has been under attack in recent years, with gang killing farmers or forcing them to abandon their fields as they raise nearby communities. The United Nations Human Rights Office noted that from October 2024 to the end of June 2025, more than 1,000 people have been killed, more than 200 injured, and 620 kidnapped. Gang violence also has displaced more than 239,000 people in Haiti's central region, according to the UN. Prime Minister Nightley has assured Barbadians that the government will not allow warrantless wiretapping as part of a broader package of crime-fighting legislation. Speaking during an address to the nation, Nightley said the controversial clause in the Interception of Communications Bill, which would have allowed certain communications to be intercepted without a judge's warrant, will be removed when the bill goes to the Senate. Quote-unquote, "Let me be crystal clear, this is not a free-for-all, and this is not a minister's toy. No politician can grant a warrant. Only the Chief Justice or a judge specifically assigned by him can authorize an interception, Motley explained. She added that all evidence will face scrutiny in open court. The bill is part of 5 measures currently before Parliament, including the Criminal Proceedings Bill, Police Amendment Bill, Firearms Amendment Bill, and the Juries Bill, aimed at tackling organized crime, illegal guns, and criminal networks. Thank you for watching. I am Tiana Cole.
VP JAGDEO'S escalated attack on the free press. Guyana Press Association concerned about threats against journalists. All systems go for discipline services voting. GECOM says over 10,000 to vote on Friday. Free prosthetic limbs for amputees on the INDIA-CAROM initiative. And APNU sees eradicating corruption as a major step in putting the people first. Those are our major headlines. For these stories and more, please go to our website. It's www.hgptv.com. I am Travis Chase. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.